What if one of the biggest problems in NASCAR right now isn't the racing? What if it's the fact that officials literally are not seeing major crashes happen in real time? Because after the chaos at Watkins Glen International, Denny Hamlin just called out both NASCAR and Fox Corporation publicly, and his comments are raising serious questions about whether race control is losing grip on the sport. Because according to Hamlin, this is no longer just a bad broadcast issue. This is becoming a safety issue. During the latest episode of his Actions Detrimental podcast, Hamlin went directly at NASCAR and Fox over what he believes were multiple missed incidents during the race weekend at Watkins Glen. The biggest example? Cody Ware crashing hard with just a handful of laps remaining. The impact damaged both the car and sections of fencing near turns 6 and 7, yet somehow the incident never triggered the kind of immediate reaction many people inside the garage expected. And Hamlin clearly was not interested in hearing another generic explanation. He basically said there is no excuse for missing wrecks in modern NASCAR when tracks are covered by camera systems from almost every angle possible. That's what makes this situation feel bigger than one missed caution. This exposed a growing concern that's been quietly building inside the garage for a while now. As NASCAR cut back too much on race monitoring and officiating, because Hamlin didn't just criticize television coverage, he pointed directly at NASCAR's entire race control structure. Over the last several years, NASCAR has reduced the number of trackside officials at many events while leaning more heavily on centralized camera systems and production feeds to monitor races. In theory, that sounds efficient. In reality, drivers and teams are starting to question whether critical moments are slipping through the cracks. And when that happens during a playoff race at one of the fastest road courses in the sport, people notice. Hamlin's biggest argument was simple. No single person can realistically monitor dozens of live camera feeds at once without missing something important. That's the heart of this controversy, because NASCAR has built a system designed around technology replacing manpower. But technology only works if the communication chain works too. If one person misses a wreck, then another official misses it, then race control reacts too late. Suddenly, a dangerous situation becomes even worse. And honestly, this is where the conversation gets uncomfortable for NASCAR. Fans already complain constantly about inconsistent cautions. One week debris gets a yellow instantly. The next week a destroyed car somehow stays green. That inconsistency frustrates teams, confuses viewers, and creates the perception that race control is improvising instead of enforcing clear standards. Now add Fox into the middle of the criticism, because Hamlin made it clear this is not solely NASCAR's problem. He believes the television side deserves accountability too. And that matters because broadcast directors are effectively another layer of race awareness during live events. If cameras fail to follow major incidents quickly enough, it limits what fans see, what commentators can explain, and potentially what race officials recognize in the moment. That creates a dangerous cycle where everybody assumes someone else caught the incident. Meanwhile, the race keeps going, and this is where the strategic side becomes fascinating. NASCAR has spent years modernizing operations to cut costs and streamline officiating, centralized control rooms, expanded camera coverage, fewer boots on the ground. From a business standpoint, it probably looked efficient. But motorsports are chaotic by nature. You're asking officials to track 30-plus cars moving at high speed across multiple corners, blind elevations, smoke clouds, debris zones, and pit strategy cycles simultaneously. That's not easy, especially at a place like Watkins Glen, where action spreads across a long technical road course instead of a compact oval. And if Hamlin's criticism gains traction inside the garage, NASCAR may suddenly face pressure to rethink how races are monitored altogether, because drivers care about one thing above all else: trust. Drivers need to trust that if something dangerous happens ahead of them, race control sees it immediately. The second that confidence starts disappearing, tensions rise fast. And remember, this is coming from one of the sport's most influential veterans. Hamlin is not some backmarker throwing random complaints at a microphone. He's a playoff contender, team owner, and one of the most outspoken voices in NASCAR today. When he publicly says this was not acceptable, people inside the industry listen. Now the fan reaction to all this is probably going to split right down the middle. Some fans completely agree with Hamlin and believe NASCAR's officiating consistency has gotten worse over the last few seasons. Others are going to argue this is just part of racing and that not every incident automatically deserves a caution flag. And honestly, both sides have valid points. because there's a difference between over-policing races and simply failing to recognize dangerous situations quickly enough. That's the line NASCAR has to figure out. The media reaction could become even more intense if similar situations happen again later this season. Because once fans start paying attention to missed calls, they notice every single one afterward. That creates a spotlight NASCAR probably does not want, hitting into the heart of the playoff battle. Now looking ahead, there are really two ways this could go. Best case scenario, NASCAR responds internally, improves communication between race control and broadcast teams, and tightens up how incidents are monitored moving forward. Maybe they increase staffing. Maybe they redesign the chain of command. Maybe they simply become more aggressive, reacting to potential hazards. If that happens, this controversy fades away quickly, but the worst case scenario is much bigger. Another major incident gets missed during a playoff race. Drivers lose confidence in race control. Fans start questioning every caution decision, and suddenly NASCAR has a credibility problem right in the middle of championship season. Because once people stop trusting consistency from officials, every decision becomes controversial, and that's a dangerous place for any sport to be. So now the question goes directly to NASCAR fans. Is Denny Hamlin right to call out NASCAR and FOX publicly over missed incidents, or is this being blown out of proportion after one chaotic race weekend at Watkins Glen? Drop your take in the comments. And for more NASCAR analysis, controversy, and playoff coverage all season long, subscribe to Sports Wire USA.